I love this movie. This movie, I can't wait for it to come out. Um, First of all, Alec Santos. Have you interviewed him yet?
Yes, for another movie.
Which one? Which one?
um, the one of the four movies of
Sure.
Christmas that you
Yes.
that he
Oh,
joined.
great. That's so
Yeah,
great. He is absolutely wonderful. I just adore him. He is such a nice person. He's so funny. He speaks
yeah.
multiple languages. He's just an absolute dream. And so, yeah, such a nice person. I loved every moment I got to spend with him.
Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment here at Survive the Shows. I'm Desiree, and today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Rhiannon Fish, star of multiple Hallmark movies.
I like
Thank
that introduction. Thank you very much.
thank you so much to join us today and join us as we delve into Rhiannon's insights into her characters and the challenges of filming these movies. Thank you for
Oh, the challenges. Yes. Sorry. Go on. Yeah.
being Thank you so much. So,
No, thank you for having me. Go ahead, please.
so we can begin with your previous movies
Mhm.
that premieres in January, Polar
Yeah.
Opposites.
Yes.
Yeah. So we didn't have the chance to speak about that movie when it premieres, so we
Mhm.
can now. So,
Mhm.
what drew you to Emma's impulsive decision to abandon her life and cartoon artist to and journey to Antarctica? What do
So
you
I'll be. Sorry. Go ahead. Go
sorry,
ahead. You can
sorry.
have.
What
No, no.
what do you liked about her journey?
Wow. The location had a lot to do with that movie in that it was so cool. It was like towards the end of last year. And I hadn't done anything, I don't think, for I did, of course, Costa Rica Romance, and I think that was last year. And then Signed, Sealed, Delivered, but it was a little bit quiet. Nothing had come through until finally, towards the end of the year, I got a call for those two movies back to back. So it was to do Polar Opposites and then Machu Picchu Proposal. And it was going to be with the same crew that we did Costa Rica with. And this crew is amazing. I love the director, Colin Thays, the people that produce it, David Boyles, his partner, Elvia, and Tim Johnson is like the big umbrella that it's under. And they are my favorite team to go and work for. So when Tim Johnson essentially called and was like, "Will you do these two?" In a heartbeat, I was like, "Yes." It was going to be a lot of traveling. We did Polar Opposites. We started, I don't even know right where we started. I think we were in Brazil, I think. I don't know. And then we got on a cruise ship, which was also really fun. Because we, of course, we shot most of that movie on the cruise ship itself. So we spent most of our time filming on there, which was really fun. We got to see parts of the boat that your average passenger wouldn't get to. Like we got to go up into like where the pilot, captain, not pilot, where the captain, I think it's the captain, where the captain of the boat is. We got to go under the boat. It was just very, very cool. And then the boat docked in Ushuaia. We shot a little bit there. And then we took a plane. I think this is right. Then we took a plane to Cusco, and then we shot the rest of it on the top of a glacier. So that just in and of itself, like that whole adventure that I knew I was going to get to go on with these people that I genuinely really, really love, that is what drew me to the whole movie. And I knew the script was going to be good. I like all these Hallmark movies. They're really relatively straightforward. You know what's going to happen kind of, but the adventure that they got to go on along the way was what really excited me about this one.
And, how did you prepare physically and mentally to convincingly portray someone surviving sub-zero conditions on screen?
Oh, such a funny question. So, of course, we didn't shoot it in Antarctica. That might have actually been easier the more that we all thought about it. The altitude was awful. We literally, I swear to you, you couldn't walk 2 steps without having to stop and just try and catch your breath. We were so well taken care of. We, of course, had a medic on set that was just an incredible man who made sure that we were all safe at all times. But as we shot on the glacier, like to get up there, we had to be physically strapped, just so that because I mean, the heights were massive. Um, so in terms of preparing, there was really nothing you can do. I mean, you're supposed to acclimate, which we had a little bit of. We stayed there for a couple days, but even then, people that do this for a living will tell you that it's difficult navigating that altitude and the altitude sickness that comes with it. It's brutal. So I definitely, when I watched the movie back, I found it very interesting because what those, much like Costa Rica, what those characters were going through was very much like what we as actors were going through, and the crew were all going through at the same time as well. So in terms of preparation, there wasn't any. It was just like go there, hope for the best.
Great. And the rescue of the penguin Lola mirrors, yeah, the central romance. How did you connect emotionally with this animal-focused storyline?
Oh, I love animals. I love them. And it's my favorite part of these destination movies is getting to do anything with the animals. Loved the monkeys in Costa Rica. The whale movie. We didn't see a whale, so I didn't really, that wasn't as like, involved with animals. But this, and we didn't actually, I should say this as well, we didn't see one penguin. There was no penguins there. They were all fake. But I loved the animal storyline. I love penguins. Penguins are such magical creatures. They really do mate for life. And there's these fabulous stories about, even there are like gay penguins as well, allegedly, according to a book. There are like male penguins that have fallen in love with other male penguins and they just love each other and then they look after eggs with the two of them. It's just so sweet. I just think penguins are so lovely. So I absolutely connected with the animal aspect of it. And the more I got to learn about penguins, the more I really loved them. I think they're very special.
Great. And working opposite Markian Tarazik, what exercises for improvisation had to build authentic chemistry under such extreme circumstances?
Yeah. I love that you keep saying that. It's so funny. Um, we got to do a little bit of improv, which was really it's always very enjoyable. Colin, again, the director, so great. He did the same. I'm sorry to keep mentioning it, but the same with Costa Rica, where he very much just trusts his actors to be like, if you have an idea, let's give it a try. If it doesn't work, we'll figure it out. And in Costa Rica, we ended up doing a movie where like I was on Chris's a scene where I stayed on Chris's shoulders, and that was not scripted. In this one, there was a whole sequence of little bits and pieces where we were sort of just hanging out in the in Markian's room. What was his character's name again? Do you know it? Okay, I should know it. I have no idea what it was. Some basic boy name. But we, and so in the script, it was just basically like they're hanging out in his room. And so it meant that we got to find fun things to do. Like I believe we played cards, we did a little bit of drawing, there was a lot of eating. Just really fun little things that Colin really let us just sort of discover as we were there on the day, which was really fun.
Great. And polar opposites leans light on conflict. How did you find the balance between keeping the tone warm and the injecting genuine stakes?
Again, great question. Because I've gotten, and I talked to Colin, the director, about this, where I said, Colin, my feedback from the last movie we did together, I saw some reviews where people were like, she was really mean. Like she was just not nice. She was too critical of him, too negative. So I think it's always good to take feedback on board. And we did, and we really tried to make sure that the conflict existed, but it was never in a way that would make anyone dislike either character. And the thing is too, like with these two characters in particular, there was no real huge conflict at the core. Like I'm trying to remember. She was kind of annoying, of course, yeah, because she snuck on the boat and put him in a really bad position. But for the most part, he was very, very helpful to her, and she needed him in order to do any of this. Saving her dad, finding Lola, all of it. She needed him, and she knew that. So I think even in the conflict, we tried to lead with the fact that these characters need each other.
Great. And the last question about this movie.
Yes.
Emma is a cartoon sketch artist who longs for a more fulfilling creative lives. Did you draw on any personal artistic interests to inhabit that role?
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that, especially if we're creative people, which I know you are as well. I think that in life, if you are a creative person and you don't have that outlet, it can feel very stifling. Um, I know, I mean, I can't remember if we talked about my royal movies as well, like we did, like the Prince in Paradise one. It's a similar storyline where, she's got these stories and she wants to tell them, and it's something that she just really, really, it's that creative thing that she feels. And what's cool is to tell stories like that as a creative person, and then to be surrounded by creative people in the crew. It's like we all know what it's like to have that thing inside us that makes us want to create something, and to eventually in these movies see those characters fulfill that is it's very rewarding.
Amazing. So, change of
So,
movie.
yeah.
Signed, sealed, delivered to the
Oh,
world.
sure. Yeah, that one was a sneak surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see it? No pressure if you didn't, because I didn't even know it came out. I
Oh,
know.
I
It's such a
didn't find it yet
shame.
on YouTube.
I know, no, it's okay. It's not your fault. I didn't know either. It was only until afterwards where people started talking about it. And I was talking to one of the producers, and even he was like, whoa, like it just came out of nowhere. So sorry. Yes, go ahead with your questions. I'll try and remember.
Yeah, and it premieres 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and on Hallmark, because I know that it will premiere in England, I think, or in France at
Yep.
the beginning of April.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
As the new co-worker, Charlie, how did you
Mhm.
integrate into the well-established team of Postables?
I just love Martha. Martha, the creator of that show, is a magical human being. And I feel I felt so welcomed, particularly by her. And of course, the cast are all wonderful. I will say, in particular, Jeff and I just get along like a house on fire. I adore Jeff. I think he's so funny. They were all very welcoming too. But Martha just saw something in this character. And it was one of my very first jobs when I moved to Vancouver. Charlie was like a relatively small role. And there was just something that she saw in this character that she wanted to bring further to life. So when she asked me back to do two more movies, I really couldn't believe it. I thought Charlie was going to pop in and then she'd disappear with her baby or leave the baby or something like that for if they ever did follow-up movies, but she made me a part of the Postables, and in a, of course, a smaller sense. I of course respect that it's the four of those icons. But to come in just even in the capacity that I did is something that I am honestly very, very grateful for.
How much did you familiarize yourself with the previous 9 Science Seal Delivered films to find your character's footing?
Well, it's so many because they also have the season too. Like they did individual episodes. It's one of the biggest or longest running, something like that on Hallmark ever.
Yeah,
Super successful too, obviously. I watched some of them before I did the first movie. And as soon as I started watching it, I just got it. I was like, I know why this worked. There is just, I think there's so much humor in it, which I think is a direction that Hallmark is really strongly leaning towards, which I love. And I just think that those characters are all really individually special human beings. And there is something interesting about each and every one of those four in particular. And it's just lovely. The idea that they're finding these letters and bringing people together, often families. It's a way of telling Hallmark love stories in a different lens, sort of, which I really like. So any of the episodes or movies that I watched, I absolutely loved.
Great. So the franchise inks on the power of a single letter. What
Mm.
does that theme of connection and discovery mean to you personally?
Oh, that's so nice. I think, I think it's twofold. And you also sort of see that in I think a lot of their movies. I know one of them I did for sure, where like letters can be very powerful in good ways and in bad ways. So you don't ever want to write, if you write that down, especially, it's the same with our phones now. If you put something in writing, that lives on forever, or it can. And so I think to be very cognizant of that is important. Um, and so that's in a way where you be careful, but also in a way that's beautiful. Like I keep all my letters. If anyone ever puts a pen to paper and gives that to me, I have a box in my storage unit that is full. And you also just never know. And not to get cynical, like, but people aren't around forever. I have letters from my grandmother. I have letters from my friends that are, or different family members that maybe are no longer in my life or around anymore. And so to be able to physically look at something that they wrote and words that they wanted you to read, I think it's timeless. And I just love it. It instantly takes you back when you can reread something like that.
That's nice. So, how did you approach the lighter, often comedic moments on set while keeping the story grounded?
Oh, well, that's a lot to do with the cast. Again, Jeff. Jeff is so funny. I He makes every moment in on that set enjoyable to me. They're also just a really lighthearted group of people in general. Like we had of course the baby, and then we had a fake baby, and I can only assume it was Jeff put a fart machine in the fake baby. Like there's just constant, it's just constantly light, even in the moments that are heavy on that show. There's always just this air of that, like we're all having fun around everybody.
Great. And talking about working with your co-stars, what did you learn from Eric Mabius, Christine Booth, and Crystal Lowe about sustaining a character across multiple installment episodes?
Absolutely. Eric in particular, I will say, is such a pro in that and the dialogue, like he's got fat chunks of dialogue. That's the thing. All those characters are very smart and can rattle off things very, very quickly. And I would watch him show up to set every day very, very, very well prepared. And I think that is always something to be reminded of. Like that's what you want to be like. Um, and the women were also, of course, very well prepared. They also, on top of that too, especially Kristen. I always get Kristen and Crystal. I'm talking about Crystal, who plays what's her character's name? And she's so cute with the glasses.
Yeah.
What's her character's name? Do you remember? I forget too. I'm so bad with names, and I'm in these movies, so don't worry about it. She just established it was like, and then she was talking about it too. It was like the moment that she put on her glasses and the wardrobe, she just became the character. And so to find
Rita.
that character, so what is it?
Her name is Rita.
Rita, of course it's Rita, of course, yes, yeah. So she, established his character so early on, and then just never let it waver. Always remembering things that you had remembered from previous episodes. Jeff, I watched do the same, where Jeff's character, according to him, hates when people have like grammatic errors or bad spelling, and he had remembered that from a previous episode and then brought it into a later one. It's the how well they embody and then remember in their own bodies their characters that I loved to watch. It was very inspiring, honestly. It made me very much want to have or hope to have a series that would go on for even half as long as they have.
Absolutely. So, over the course of finding the letter's writer, did Charlie experience an internal shift that resonate with your own journey as an actor?
Yeah, so she put the bomb in
Yeah.
I probably can't even say that on YouTube, so maybe scratch that out because it's not. She puts the clock in the mailbox and it's like
Yeah.
a bad prank. And I think it's guilt. So first of all, that was something that I related to, as I think we can all relate to that, is harboring guilt. And I saw the relief that Charlie felt when she finally got this off her chest. I think that made her feel better. That's a lot of what that whole episode is about. And about how Marlon, I think his name is, how Marlon had was harboring these feelings for Charlie, but never told her. So again, it's like these harbored feelings that these people were having that all could have been resolved if they just spoke their truth. And I think that that's something that we should all, I mean, of course, respectfully, but try and live by, is not keep anything in, especially if it's good things. If you love somebody, tell them that you love them. What's the worst that can happen? I even think in family relationships, I think, or friends, you get this pang of being like, oh, I want to tell this person that I love them. We should. And I think that that's definitely what those characters are looking at in that episode. And I think they all would have benefited from just being honest in the first place.
That's amazing. So, change of subject again. No worries.
Sorry.
Talking about Your Last Jam, that will premiere on Hallmark Channel on June 28th, a Macchu Picchu Proposal. So, Katie helps navigate a Peruvian proposal. Did you explore Peruvian traditions or languages, nuances to enrich her authenticity?
I love this movie. This movie, I can't wait for it to come out. First of all, Alec Santos. Have you interviewed him yet?
Yes, for another movie.
Which one? Which one?
The one of the 4 movies of Christmas
Sure.
that he
Oh,
joined.
great. That's
Yeah.
so great. He is absolutely wonderful. I just adore him. He is such a nice person. He's so funny. He speaks multiple languages. He's just an absolute dream. And such a nice person. I loved every moment I got to spend with him. He speaks, I think, both Spanish and Portuguese. I can't remember. He's very, very smart. And he does, right?
Yeah.
See, it's amazing. So they wrote this character Carlos, and I was like, nobody can do this. This is like a fictional character. Who are you going to find? Then cue Alec. Alec walks in and is literally Carlos. And so in terms of like exploring the culture, there was so much that he had knowledge of. The lovely, lovely human, and I've forgotten her name as well, that plays Dan's fiance. The characters, I can't remember character name or her name, and she's so lovely. And she lived there, and she had just told us so much about their culture, and just like really cool things. Like she taught us a lot about how they celebrate Christmas. We basically had tour guides all the time because a lot of people were from there. It was just incredible, absolutely incredible to dive into such an incredible culture.
Great, amazing. You are talking about Michelle Rosario.
Michelle. I love Michelle. Sorry, Michelle, if you haven't seen it, and she knew so much. And again, just to watch people so easily switch between English and Spanish or Portuguese, it was just, as somebody that only speaks English, I just sit there with like heart eyes on all of them because I just think it is so cool. And to have an entire crew basically speaking both Spanish and English at all times, it was this otherworldly, incredible experience. I loved every second of making that movie.
Amazing. So, Machu Picchu itself plays a pivotal role. How did you
Mhm.
convey the site's grandeur and the spiritual weight through Kathy's eyes?
Oh, Machu Picchu is incredible. I am more of an indoor girl. I like to be inside with my cats. So to get to do these jobs and go on these adventures, sometimes, occasionally, it can feel like work, but no part of this movie did. Especially when we got to Machu Picchu, there is something spiritual that you cannot explain. And I woke up that morning just feeling quite tired. Like I said, we did the two movies back to back. A lot of people were sick as well. So we were all kind of, dragging our feet a little bit. Finally get to the top, and it is something that you just feel in your whole body. And spiritual is the only way to describe it. If you believe in God, if you believe in the universe, anything, it's there in Machu Picchu. So to watch Katie see all these things for the first time, and then to, of course, also be seeing them for the first time, it was so easy to play, much like how much she liked Carlos. I so enjoyed Alex's company that was so easy to. None of that job ever felt like work in any capacity.
Amazing. So, Kathy is her brother's right hand. How did you find that sibling bond, and did you draw on any real life family relationships? Relationship? Sorry.
Well, I love twins. I'm obsessed with twins. I hope to have twins myself one day. That's what I'm putting out into the world. I love twins. I loved doing Mickey and Nora with Hunter and getting to play twins. And I loved the opportunity to play twins in this because it allows stop. It allows space for, same as all siblings, like this bit of bickering that is just inevitable, and it's never fighting. It's like bickering, which I love. It gives the excuse to sort of play in that space. And it also, this symmetry, like there's parts where we have like matching backpacks and they're both kind of geeky and just finishing each other's sentences, which I love. I love soulmate connections. And I think that twins are always soulmates. That's what I think. And so to play a sibling soulmate relationship is always something that I really, really enjoy.
Amazing. So, Kathy's chemistry with Chef Carlos, played by Alec Santos,
Mhm.
underpins much of the humor. What was your process for comedic timing in this proposal misshapes?
Oh, I'm going to forget someone else's name. What's the guy's name? Sorry, I should have just had everything up. Plays Dan, my brother. What's his name? I could only think of
Christopher
him as. Oh, it's Chris. It's
Christopher
Chris. Chris.
Vieira.
You're right.
Vieira.
Sorry. It's so unprofessional of me. I'm so sorry. Um, Chris is really funny. Chris actually has a quite successful, I believe it's TikTok. And he's created his whole other language on there. So he found a lot of the comedy just in, oh, and the script is, of course, great. That's Juliana Wimbles. She wrote Costa Rica Romance. She wrote the Whale movie as well. She's a really talented writer. I will always say that about her. She's I think we're very close to the same age, so you can hear it in her writing is that it's just sort of very current writing, and the things that are funny are genuinely funny the way that she writes them, and the way Chris played it made it very funny. Alec was also effortlessly funny. He's got this like freedom to him that I just find very endearing and very funny. Nothing is ever pushed or forced with him. So anything that is funny in that movie was almost just naturally there. It just existed as a credit to Juliana, the writer, and also the other actors in the scene.
Amazing. So, with the premiere set for June 28th, as I already said, how are you preparing to share this film with audiences, and what do you hope viewers take away?
Oh, wow. I text Alec the other day and I was like, you're the new Hallmark It Boy. I'm telling you, Hallmark needs to catch this drift. And so I hope anyone that watches that movie sees Alex Santos for how incredible he is. And he continues to work and work and work. I want to do another movie with him. We're talking with the producers of those movies about doing another one in another location that I am dying to go to. So one of my takeaways is just that I hope the network sees a lot more of Alec. That would make me very, very happy. I hope people feel encouraged to go to Machu Picchu. Not that they need it. It's the one of the most incredible magical places in the world. And then I also think I think a nice takeaway of that movie too, because it's of course about a proposal and finding the perfect location. And I think the really sweet aspect of that movie is sort of looking at that, like nothing is ever perfect. Maybe you're perfect enough just as you are. And knowing that, I hope that maybe viewers see that and feel that in themselves is that you're perfect just the way you are. You don't need to be anything fancy.
Amazing. So, talking, change the subject again, talking about your career in general. Talking about your early career and the changes you made now. From dystopian sci-fi in the 100 to light-hearted romance, what challenges and rewards come with such a genre hopping?
You're so thoughtful. What a great question. Um, I think I think that it's sort of really shown me that there is, for me, I I love both. Of course, I love both, and I loved doing that Lifetime movie where everything is really like, and the 100 too, where everything is like gritty and scary and the end of the world constantly. Um, it also showed me in having done that that I really love the space where we get to make fairy tales. And I feel so above and beyond grateful that that is for the most part what I do for a living is just tell fairy tales. And I always say this, I think more and more every day that we are living in a world where people need fairy tales and to get to be a person that helps take them on that escape, it's the best. I just absolutely love it.
Amazing. So, um, about your personal inspiration, which actors, directors, or writers have most influenced your craft and how have they shaped your approach?
I so I have never wanted to be anything other than an actor, and I always remember like the moment that I got it. And I don't know how old I would have been, very young, maybe 6 or 7, I don't know. But I watched Sandra Bullock, and for me, it was her. I was like, that woman. I probably had a crush on her too. I was just like, that woman is everything. And what she is doing, I want to do. I have to do what Sandra Bullock is doing. She's been somebody that I have always loved. In this moment, I think, and I said this, I was at work just yesterday. I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm working on. I was work just yesterday and I was talking to some of the other actors, and we were just saying that the absolute superstar of the world right now, in my opinion, and also theirs, is Zendaya. That woman can do no wrong. I think she is an absolute superstar, singer, actor, dancer, you name it, she's got it. She is my favorite actor right now for sure.
Amazing. So, the last question, as usually, uh, can you share with us what are your upcoming projects or what you are going to
Oh
do
my
next?
God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm on thing now. It's for Hallmark. And
Great.
it is something that I was a fan of before I got on it. I had watched it before I got on it. And from the moment I heard about this thing, I was like, I have to get on this. And I'm so thrilled that I did. I'm only on it for a little while, but I am having one of the best experiences I have ever had on a set in the one that I'm currently working on. And then in a couple of weeks, I'm going to leave and go do a Hallmark Christmas movie. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I'm very excited. It's just, yeah, really, I feel now more than ever, really like I'm really finding my footing at Hallmark. And so much of that, is a credit to people like you and anybody that watches it and supports it. This network is going nowhere. It's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it is just, it's a dream job to be a part of the Hallmark family.
Amazing. So, this is it. Make sure, all of you, to coach a Macchu Picchu proposal on Hallmark channel on June 28th and from the following day on Hallmark Plus. And thank you, Rhiannon, to join us
Thank you
today.
so much. You're the best. I love talking to you.
Me too. And thank you all for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.